everyone. I'm actually doing a second video today because something has just caught my attention, and I needed to. I just think it just needs some attention. I've been following MeetKevin for a very long time. I originally started following because I was um, interested in buying houses and flipping houses, and real estate investment in general, and he had started his YouTube channel doing real estate investment, offering real estate investment advice, and I thought it was very informative. But over the last couple of years, it's kind of shifted, and the content in which he produces, I would say, has been following a certain trend. He's clearly trying to figure out what works best so that he can maximally monetize his channel. Don't get me wrong, that's what a lot of people try to do, is try to find the things that are going to drive the most SEO, which are the trending topics, which drives the most clicks and the most views. I don't do that. To my detriment, I would say. I really just look at what I think is interesting and then create videos on it, hence this particular video. So I've just been noticing over the last couple of weeks that Kevin's content has shifted to a very specific focus. I'm just going to scroll through going back a month, and you can tell me what you think it is. You'll see Elon. You see Elon again. You see mentions of SpaceX, or you see mentions of Elon, or you see mentions of Tesla. And you can just kind of go through his videos. And he's really, there's a couple of Jensen in there. It draws clicks, but Elon destroyed the stock market. We can scroll up and we'll see more on Elon. And it's just buy price SpaceX and Tesla. We'll see more stuff. He's tracking the Iran war. He puts out stuff about that. It's completely misses the point in the boat. The evil plan worsens, Tesla and SpaceX. You can continue to go down the list. SpaceX scam, question mark. Something doesn't smell right. You can continue to go through. SpaceX failure. Elon just flipped. Elon's 9 stocks, critical AI hardware. Elon short. Tesla scam. He's creating clickbait content and I've watched these videos, and they're not really talking about anything, and it's clear that he doesn't necessarily know how to evaluate SpaceX, and ultimately evaluate the underlying AI piece of SpaceX. But with that said, the thing that caught my attention is that he has started saying in all of his videos that he has exposure to SpaceX, and he had pre-IPO shares. Now, he's mentioned this a couple times, and he caveats it at the front end of the videos, in which he then goes on to basically undermine the entire case for SpaceX. And don't get me wrong, it's fine if you have an opinion about whatever you want to have an opinion about. You have an opinion about Elon, you have an opinion about SpaceX, or whatever. But the thing that I don't get is, if you dislike a stock or if you dislike an owner, why are you investing in that particular asset? It makes zero sense. And so I just went through. I was like, you know what? I need to check my sanity to see if I'm just missing something here. And so I just went and asked Grok, hey, by the way, is there any public information that actually proves that Kevin Paffrath, or anything associated with Kevin Paffrath or MeetKevin, owns any SpaceX shares pre-IPO or now? And so the top headline, no independent public filings or ownership records confirm it. But Kevin Paffrath has repeatedly stated on his MeetKevin YouTube channel that he or entities he controls, manages, such as venture capital funds, has pre-IPO SpaceX exposure that converted or relates to SpaceX. Now, he has not shown any proof that he actually has any shares of SpaceX. The other day, he pulled up an email that somebody else sent in regard to how they're viewing whether or not people are selling SpaceX shares or whatnot. But what he has said in multiple 2026 videos discussing the SpaceX IPO and the post-IPO price action, Paffrath references personal or managed exposure. He has described buying earlier, and being dramatically up or up 4 to 5 even after the post-IPO pullback from highs nearing $250 a share towards the mid 100s. He has referred to our venture capital fund, our venture capital company's SpaceX position with over 7 figures of exposure, noting that shares had not been delivered due to lockups and that he is waiting on liquidated or decide on them. A video titled roughly "Important Update on My SpaceX Shares" exists on his channel, posted earlier this month. He has contrasted pre-IPO VC shareholders, including how we did, who remains profitable, with post-IPO buyers who were underwater after the initial pop and subsequent decline. There's a bunch of statements that he made. So no matching institutional ownership data, major F-13 filers, holders list of SpaceX stock or similar disclosures do not list Kevin Paffrath, Plato's Philosophy LLC, his former RIA, in that sub-advised the closed PP ETF that he was so happy to talk about, House Hack, or clearly linked entities as significant public holders of SpaceX. His registered investment advisor activity tied to MeetKevin pricing power ETF ended with the fund's liquidation in February 2025, well before the June 2026 SpaceX IPO. That ETF never held SpaceX, never mentioned that they had pre-IPO shares. Mentions of the entities such as RoboHack Manager LLC, described in filings as exempt reporting advisor, managing a venture capital fund, exist in connection with his business, but no detailed public portfolio disclosure confirms SpaceX as a holding. Pre-IPO SpaceX ownership often occurred via special purpose vehicles, or SPVs, secondary markets, or public funds. These are not always viable in public F-13 style filings, the way listed equity holders are, especially for smaller exempt reporting vehicles. So the bottom line that it summarizes, the only public available proof consists of Paffrath's, Kevin's own video statements claiming pre-IPO SpaceX exposure that leaves him or his fund substantially profitable relative to the IPO price and subsequent trading. There is no core corroborating SEC ownership filings, F-13 reports, or independent disclosures of SpaceX holdings in a portfolio he manages that appear in searchable public records. Personal or private fund holdings of this nature often do not require to be disclosed in the same way as large institutional positions, so absence of filing doesn't definitively disprove his statements, but it also means there is no independent verification beyond his own commentary. Kevin talks about it a lot. that he owns these pre-IPO shares. Now, I know that a lot of the YouTubers on the finance side were creating or were looking for ways to get pre-IPO shares years ago. And it may be the case that Kevin was part of one of those buys. But the fact that Kevin keeps going on and essentially creating FUD about SpaceX while he says that he owns shares, I'm just going to say is a little sus. If you don't believe in the stock that you own, usually you would sell it. If you don't believe in the ownership, you would usually sell it. You wouldn't make the investment, which means he would have potentially sold out of these positions, these pre-IPO positions, or sold his stake prior to the IPO, which is definitely possible. While there is some older records that show that he made the transactions. I don't know. I'm just saying it's a little weird that he keeps creating content, dropping Elon's name, talking crap about how SpaceX's valuation is, and then saying that it's not worth it, and also saying that he wants it to go down. He wouldn't buy unless it went down to 80. If you believe in the stock, you would buy it no matter what price because you believe in where the company is going. All of his actions speak to completely different motivations than someone who actually owns the stock. I would say it's closer akin to an activist investor in the best case scenario versus that of someone who actually owns the stock and then wants to make even more money off of it going up over time in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. But again, I just find his content a little sus. It is the fact that he is definitely creating clickbait. He does it in the titles of his videos, which is fine. There's a lot of YouTubers that do that I also follow. I find it super annoying because now I've got to watch their video to find out if they're putting out FUD or if they're being truthful. And I have to do my own research after watching it because what they're talking about makes no sense in the whole scheme of things. And this is the case with Kevin. But at any rate, just wanted to put this video out there. I'm not saying that he doesn't own them. I'm not saying that he does. I'm just saying that he is giving all the signs of someone who doesn't actually own the stock, or he's an activist investor thinking that he, as a YouTuber with a little bit of a following, granted, it is significantly more than my following, by orders of magnitude, but he thinks that he can drive change within companies because he thinks he knows better than people that are running these multi-billion-dollar businesses. Now over $1 trillion businesses. And so I just find it sus. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, keep believing that the best is still ahead for America. Peace.